Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com, and we're here today with episode number 7 in our incredible new tutorial series where you're learning how to do 3D graphics and 3D animations in Python. What I'm going to need you to do is pour yourself a nice strong cup of black coffee. That is straight up hot black coffee, no sugar, no sweeteners, none needed. That's your go juice. Go get you some. What I'm also going to need you to do is fire up your most excellent Visual Studio Code. And as you're doing that, as always, I want to give a shout out to you guys who are helping me out over at Patreon. It is your encouragement and your support that keeps this great content coming. You guys that are not helping out yet, look down in the description below. There is a link over to my Patreon account. Think about hopping on over there and hooking a brother up. But enough of this shameless self-promotion. Let's jump in and talk about what we are going to do in today's lesson. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the solution to the homework assignment that I gave you in lesson number 6. And that was for you to use Vpython to create an animated thermometer, where you have a visual, a 3D visual of a thermometer, and that thermometer is going up and down like the temperature of the mercury is going up and down based on your program. How many of you guys were successful? What I'm hoping is a few of you guys would just like do a screen capture of your animation and then put a link to it in the comments down below so we can kind of see what each other are coming up with as far as good, cool thermometer graphics and animations. But let me jump in and go ahead and let me kind of show you what my solution to this is going to be. So I'm going to come over here to Visual Studio Code and I am working in the Vpython folder. I will come over here and create a new program. I'm going to call it my therm for my thermometer.py. The .py is kind of important, and boom, there we have a fresh new Python program just waiting to be written. And I think I will need to get out of your way here. And ready to get started. All right. We're going to do this simulation in Vpython, so we need to import Vpython, and so we'll say from Vpython, from Vpython import star. Okay, we've got that. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to import our old friend from last week. Who was that? That was Mr. NumPy. Import, how did we do that? Import NumPy as NP, and make sure that it doesn't autofill and change that to NumPy like that. You just want NP. That is most annoying. Okay, now that should get it. You got to kind of get past that without it changing it to NumPy. Import NumPy as NP. That means when we want to interact with NumPy, we interact with NP. It's like we rename it NP. Makes the typing a little bit faster. Now we are going to want to make a thermometer. So I am going to start by building a glass bulb. And my glass bulb is going to be a sapphire, and that sapphire is going to have a radius of, let's say, 1.25. Okay, and its color is going to be color.white. And then its opacity is going to be equal to, let's just start at 0.5. Okay, so this is going to be kind of a clear glass bulb. All right, a clear glass bulb. Anything else we need to do there? I don't think so. And then let's create my glass cylinder. And that is going to be a cylinder. And that'll have a radius of, let's have a radius of, I'm going to have to think about that a little bit, a radius of if this is 1.25, I would want this to be, let's make it 1. No, let's make it 0.75, like that. We can come back and look at it later. I'm just in my mind trying to picture it that I want the cylinder smaller than the glass sphere. Okay, and again, color equal color dot white, and then opacity is equal to, let's make it 0.5 again. Okay, then I'm just going to kind of be showing this as we go so we can kind of get the proportions looking good. And remember that you need to do a while true, because if you do a graphic and then the program ends, then the graphic's going to crash. So we got to kind of keep it running. So I'll just put a while loop here that doesn't do anything but just loops and does nothing, but it keeps the graphic alive. So let's give this a look and see what this is. Oh, and that cylinder, we need to put a length on that, right? So we'll put a length is equal to, let's make it 6. So it'd be like a 6-inch thermometer. Let's see how this looks. Ooh, I need a comma there. All right. Rookie mistake. Okay, can you guys see that all right now? All right, let's try it. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Definitely, I think this is probably, I think that's probably too thick, right? I think that is too thick compared to the bulb. And so instead of, I'll make it 0.5. Let's see how that looks. Right, my cylinder was too big around compared to the bulb, I thought. Now it's too small. I'm kind of picky about these things. I'm going to make it 0.65, like that. I want it to look like a thermometer, guys. Don't hate me because I want to make it look like a thermometer. Okay, I kind of like that. I think that looks like a pretty good thermometer right there. Okay, now that's the glass bulb, right? That is the glass bulb. But what are we also going to need? We are going to need the mercury. So I'm going to put like a mercury glob. What would I call that? Mercury sphere. My Mercury sphere is going to be a sphere. And I want this radius to be equal to 1 because like the mercury's inside the glass, so I want the mercury to be smaller than the glass. So I want it to look like a glass bulb with a blob of mercury in it. So the radius is going to be 1. And then we are going to have color equal color dot red. I'm old school. I want red mercury in there. And then I think opacity we don't have to set because it will be okay just like that. So we're going to have now a red glob inside of our glass bulb. So let's look at that. Ah, I like that. Okay, do you see that? So you see it actually looks like a glob of mercury inside of the glass bulb. Right now I need to get that cylinder in there. I need to get that mercury column that is going to move up and down. So I'm going to need my merc column. Merc column is going to be a cylinder, and its radius is going to be equal to, okay, let's see now, this cylinder up here was 0.65. We want this radius to be a little bit smaller, so let's make it 0.5, and then let's give it a length equal to 5 or equal to 6, so it'll kind of fill up that glass cylinder. And then color is going to be color dot red, like that. Okay, and Are you guys seeing that? Okay, color is color.red. I hope I didn't cover up anything with my noggin. I know you guys hate it when I am coding behind my head, but let's try this now. Here we go. Boom, look at that. All right, so let's see if we can spin this around. Okay. I think that looks like a thermometer. That looks really good. I do think maybe this is a little bit big. I would like the red column to be a little bit smaller. I'm just got this kind of thing in my head of how a thermometer should look. And so let's put it at 0.4 and see how that looks on the radius of my Mercury column. Let's kill the old one. Let's run the new one and have a sip of coffee while we're doing it. It's like the Three Little Bears. That's a little bit too small. Okay, I think I've made it a little bit too small. I'm going to try to kind of split the difference here. Let's say 0.445 like that. Kill it, and I promise I won't change it again, because I could sit here and I could tweak those parameters all day until I get the perfect one, but I actually think that one looks pretty good. That to me looks like a thermometer. If you would allow me to tweak one more thing, I want to take the opacity of the glass tube down a little bit, because I want that red to show up a little bit more red on the inside. So the opacity of the glass, I'm going to take it down to let's see, 0.3. All right, let's try that on those two. Kill the old one, run the new one. Kill the old one, run the new one. Okay, I like that. Do you see with the opacity turned down, you can see the Mercury column a lot better? Okay, now what was the assignment? We want that Mercury column to go up and down. Okay, we want the Mercury. Now we've got a good thermometer now, but let's animate it. Okay, let's animate it. So we'll come over here, kill it. How do we animate it? Well, while true, we're still going to do this because we want it to go up and down and up and down. So we'll still do this inside of the while loop. But now we're going to say for, and I'm going to say, let's say for my temp in, who's your friend? Mr. Linspace, np.linspace. And I think I'll start right out at kind of like, I don't want to start at 0. I want to start right sort of at the outside of the glass bulb. And so I will start at 1 and I will go to 6 and I will have 100. Okay, I will have 100 steps. And remember, this darn thing. Okay, there. Now remember, anytime you're in a loop, you need to put a rate. So I'm going to put a rate of 100 for Vpython to know how fast to run this thing. And then I am going to say, what are we changing? Well, it's the Mercury column that we're changing the length of. And then what are we going to change? The dot length, right? And that is this length. So it's merc column dot what dot length. And then I'm going to set that equal to my temp, like that. Does that look good? I think that looks good. Okay, now let's come over here and get this, because the next one should be very similar to that. And this will just be going back the other way. Okay, so now my temp in np.linspace, and we'll go from 6 to 1. 6, 2, 1, and we'll do 100 steps. So let's try and see what that does. Okay, here we go. Boom! Look at that. It's alive. It's alive. Look at that. Okay, what do I like about it? I like that it's very, very smooth. So those 100 steps are perfectly smooth. What I would like to see is, I would like to see it go a little bit slower than that. That is going a little bit fast for my taste. And so we'll come back over here, kill it, and let's go a rate of 25 here and a rate of 25, and give that a try and see what it does. Right. Let me see. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Look at that. That really looks like a thermometer. That looks a whole lot like a thermometer, and it comes down to sort of where you would like it to stop, and then it goes back up. I really, really, really like that. Okay. Now, guys, did any of you guys do something this sophisticated where you actually put kind of like a glass bulb with the mercury inside of it? Or did you do something better than this? Give me a screen capture and put it on YouTube and post the link over there so we can sort of see what each other had done. But if you looked at this and really wanted to take it to the next step, what would you do? Well, it'd be cool if you had some tick marks in here, right? It would be cool if you had some tick marks in here for like temperature labels. And so let's say that we wanted 10 tick marks, all right? Now, what I want to show you is you could kind of come in up here. Now, these would not be animated, so they wouldn't need to be in the for loop, but you could kind of come in and say like my tick is equal to, and then you could make a box. And then you could kind of go up and do, say, 10 or 20 of those tick marks, right? But that would be like a whole lot of coding. So I want to show you a little trick of how you could do something repetitive like that. I could say for tick in, what do I want to do here? I think I'll use linspace. So I'll say np dot linspace, and I want to start at 1. And I want to go to 6, and I want to have 25 tick marks, okay? So I'm going to go from 1 to 6, and I'm going to do 25 of them. Okay, now the problem is, if I did a little more research, I could probably figure out how to put a variable name on the left of an equal sign. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to name my objects. I'm just going to put the objects out there. The objects are tick marks. I'm just going to put them out there. When you create an object and don't give it a name, you lose the ability to interact with that object, but we're just putting them there so we don't have to name them. And then this lets me create my tick marks inside of this for loop. So what am I going to create? I'm going to create a box, and that box is going to, let's see, it's going to have a size. It's going to have a size, and that size is going to be, let's see, in the X direction, we want it pretty thin, so I'm going to say 0.1, okay, and then in the Y direction, let's just make it 0.5, and in the Z direction, 0.5. And so I'm just imagining a little thin tick mark that is kind of like a little square, and then we're going to just put those things, we're just going to put those things up there. And now this is where the trick comes in. That is going to be, the position is also going to be a vector, and that vector is going to be, well, where do we want it? In X, we want it where? At tick, right? So I'm giving it, each time through, it is going to put it in a different position, all right? And then I also need to give it, if this is X, it's going to be putting them like this. And then I'm going to kind of want them raised up in, I think I want them coming out in Z. And so I'll say 0 and 0.5. Okay, so they're going to be stacked up this way, but then they're going to kind of be out towards you a little bit. And this I'm just kind of doing off the top of my head, so then we're going to have to go in and kind of look at them and figure out how to adjust these things. But hopefully we'll at least see them and then make them look good after this. And so we have got a size, that is very bad. Size is equal to vector, and position is equal to vector. Well, what's changing in the for loop? What's changing is the position, but they should all be the right size. So this could be crazy off, but hopefully it'll be close enough that we can then decide what we want to do with it. So here we go. And we can't even see them. What did we do wrong there? Cannot even see them. Oh, and also we killed it. So what happened is we got an error in our code, and guys, I apologize, I'm rubbing my nose, but It is 3 degrees outside right now, and inside the heater's not working, so I am freezing in here. It is like 40 degrees in here, but I'm not going to put my coat on because this orange shirt, it's my trademark. I'm not going to make a video on a coat even if I freeze to death. But I'm sure what happened here is we probably killed the program with that line of code. And so let's see what it didn't like. Okay, let's try running it again. We have an error, I am sure, in the code. And it says in line 8, Vector. We misspelled vector. I hope you saw that. All right, let's try it again. Let's see if we get some tick marks on there this time. Hey, we got some tick marks. Now, look at that. Those tick marks are not that bad. Okay, those tick marks are not that bad. Okay, I think we got probably too, I think they're too thick. And let's see if we made them black. Let's see if you could see them if we made them black. Okay, so we're going to say color equal color dot black. All right. And then also, I thought they were a little too thick, so I'm going to make them half that thick, 0.05. And then let's see what they look like. Boom. Okay, now the black tick mark doesn't really work because you got a black background. All right, it doesn't really work because you got a black background. So let's see if we can make them white. Let's see, color is equal to color dot white. And then that 0.05, I do think on the vector size, that's the dimension in X. I think that looked good. And then we were bringing them out in the Z direction, which means they should show when I turn it up. Okay, let's try that and see what it looks like. Boom, I like that. Okay, so you see we've got tick marks there on our thermometer. And now we could come in. I think they're sticking out a little bit too far when I made it the 0.5. Okay, and that I think is in the Z direction. They're coming out too far. So let me not bring them out in Z at all. What if I made the Z smaller? Like 0.25. Now, if I'm not careful, so this is, remember, it's X, it's Y, and Z is coming out. Now, if I don't bring them out, if I don't make them big enough, they're going to be hidden behind. And so I got to make sure that they're at least big enough for that. Okay, I think that is perfect. You see how we have tick marks? They're not sticking out too far out of the globe. I mean, out of the cylinder. And then also, it was unfair for me to do this on this one because I haven't shown you, but you can put text labels, and using that same trick that I just showed you, you could actually label them. But I do think I have too many tick marks. So one last minor adjustment here, and then we will move on. I think those were too many. So we had 20. Let's make, we had the ticks, we made 25. Let's make 15. Let's see how that looks. All right, boom. I like that. I think that is a dandy thermometer. What do you think? I think we've got the tick marks, we've got it animated, we've got it moving up and down. And then what you could imagine is that we could put the labels, and in a future lesson I'll show you how to do labels on things, and we could use that same for loop trick, and as you make the tick mark, put the number beside it, and then that way we would have the full thermometer. But I think that is pretty darn cool. Okay, guys, I think it is time for me to give you a homework assignment for next week. And the homework assignment for next week is I want 2 thermometers side by side. Okay, so I want like thermometer 1 and I want thermometer 2. Okay, and I want thermometer 1 animated and I want thermometer 2 animated. But I want thermometer 1, let's see, thermometer 1 going twice as fast as thermometer 2. Okay, they're both moving, and you cannot do this. You can't do this. Right, they've got to both be moving at the same time, but thermometer 2 going twice as fast as thermometer 1. Okay, 2 thermometers, both of them are animated, because this is kind of important, because if we're going to animate things, we might have like a pressure sensor and a temperature sensor, and you've got to animate them independently. And so what I want you to do for next time is 2 thermometers, both of them animated side by side, one of them moving twice as fast as the other one, all at the same time. Okay, so that is going to be your assignment for next week. And then what I will do, I will come back next week and I will show you my solution. Guys, I hope you're having as much fun taking these lessons as I'm having making them, and I know that we're all excited to get in there and connect Arduino up to our Vpython, but we've got to build some foundation. We've got to build some fundamentals in the 3D modeling and in the 3D animations before we jump in and start sending live data in from the Arduino, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here. So next week you're going to have 2 thermometers. They're going to be running independently, and then I will come back next week and I will show you my solution. Okay, guys, I hope if you enjoy these videos, you'll give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, when you subscribe, make sure you ring that bell so that you will get notifications when my future lessons come out. And think about sharing this on social media, because we need more people coding and fewer people sitting around watching silly cat videos. This is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.